We ready? Who ready? We ready? Who ready? We ready? Who ready? We ready? Motivation to youth only. Mentally feel like Kobe. I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili. From young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's the reach. We ready? Who ready?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the One-on-One Sports Show here on the BMU Network. My name is Mr. Bennett with my partner, my Gen X brother. Shout out to the Gen Xers, man. Y'all are the best of all time. Coach Ferg in the building tonight. Good to have you with us. Hopefully our partners, Shawnee and Dante, they'll be joining us shortly. But we appreciate you joining us on another edition of this show on this. It's going on November here. So we got a lot of things going on, World Series, all kinds of things going on. But we appreciate you guys for joining us once again. Just make sure as you come in, make sure if you can hit the like button as you come in, but also consider, certainly joining the network, becoming a subscriber to the network, consider becoming a member of the network. Certainly as the Cash App scroll at the bottom of our screen shortly, consider dropping a Cash App to the Black Man Unfiltered Network or to our personal networks as well. We'd appreciate anything that you do for us. But good to be with you guys on this Wednesday, and certainly looking forward to lots of different topics in the world of sports that we're going to cover. We don't cover football every week. In fact, we got a brewing story that's starting to happen right now. Certainly in the sports world that certainly when Shawnee gets up here, we'll certainly lead with that. But it is towards the end of October, so the Fall Classic. So I talked about this last week. We're going to get arguably, I think certainly what the MLB wanted was certainly New York Yankees and the LA Dodgers. This is the first time that they've met since 1981. I saw that series. I was heartbroken over it because that was the year we got Dave Winfield, and we thought with him and Reggie Power and stuff that we just ball, and those guys just struck out. So we didn't get the offensive production you would think when you'd have like another Ruth and another Mantle and Maris in the lineup, but we didn't get that production. But again, we did beat them again the 77 and 78 World Series back to back. And, so this is going to be a hot game. I was just looking at ticket prices prior to the start. The cheapest ticket to New York, since I live, not too far from Yankee Stadium, the cheapest ticket is $1,300. Top tickets is over $10,000 to get to this game. And so, hey, I don't know my pockets aren't running that deep as of yet. But anyway, before we get too headlong into this thing, Brother Trey, what is going on with you, sir? How's your week gone?
What's up, Mr. Bennett, man? Well, my week ain't going too bad, just completing my projects around the house, man, before it get too cold. I'm about 85% complete of my first project. Again, like I mentioned, my walk-in closet, but this is a great time.
Now I'm envious, man. Like I said, I live with 4 grown women here, and all of them, the biggest thing. And I got a big 2, colonial house here, 4, 5-bedroom house, 3-bed, but we don't have the closet space, man. So when you talk about now, you're inspiring me. I'm gonna have to get some California closet type of stuff or build something out or whatever, man. Because
you might decide to take one of those bedrooms and turn them into a closet. That's all.
Well, yeah. Well, we got to see, because I know my oldest daughter, God willing, should be going to medical school next year. And regardless whether it be in state or out of state, she'll be moving out to be closer to the campus. So yeah, so my wife already has plans for that room already. So we may have to think about turning that into a closet. But but certainly good of you to have that kind of ingenuity and whatnot. But yeah, but that it's a constant thing over here. It's like they it's weird too, because you pack them and send them to school with clothes or whatnot. They come back with twice the stuff. I'm like, how'd you accumulate all that stuff? I know you didn't send as much with you to school.
Well, Mr. Bennett, let's be honest. They accumulated because Mr. Bennett was sitting up there sending them cash whenever they asked for it. He was cash shopping them. So that's
nah. I'm very frugal with them. I need reason. I need explanation. I need all that stuff there. But somehow they were able to still accumulate the stuff. So I don't know how they did it. But nevertheless, though, certainly that's always comes at a premium here. But glad that you're again being productive with your time and always being useful. But again, shout out to the chat 183307. Thank you for being here. Thank you for monitoring the chat. Del Monte Green Beans, good to see you tonight, my brother, as well. And certainly just looking forward to a powerful show this evening. So again, this series is going to be hot, man. So you got Ohtani versus Judge versus Stanton versus Soto. You got a lot of talent, a lot of offense. I mean, I saw that Mets series, and the Mets, they put up a good effort, man. Usually you put up 6-7 runs in a game. A lot of times that's enough, but it's hard to beat a team who's constantly, putting double digits on the scoreboard. I mean, you just, so lots of firepower here. So just early impressions. I don't know how much you got a chance to work to watch, but early impressions on this World Series. Who do you like coming out of here, and just how do you see this World Series going?
Man, it's hard to pick a clear-cut favorite right now so early because both teams got hot at the right time.
Right.
I think the team that could weather the travel the best would probably come out on top because you're talking probably, if it goes 7 games, you're talking at close to 10,000 miles travel.
Yeah.
And I think the team that weathers that would be the best team because it doesn't matter the time of year. Both teams have been streaking. The star players, they've been pretty much being consistent. So it's going to be interesting. The weather has been pretty nice, So LA might run into some of that New York weather before the series is over. And that could
it's been nice. It's been in the upper 70s and 80 degrees here in New Jersey. So if that's any indication, they're not going to be wearing jackets and gloves on Friday. The series starts on Friday night, so unless there's a drastic weather change, the weather should be formidable. Interesting. The last time I had tickets to Yankees World Series, I believe that was 90. I want to say it was 98. And I remember that because I think the Yankees swept the San Diego Padres, and I had tickets to Game 5 at Yankee Stadium. So I never got a chance to go. So we were anticipating that, man, we'll get a game out of this. Yankees swept. I still had, in fact, I got my ticket, I laminated or whatever, so I never got a chance to go. But even then, I wasn't spending $1,300 for a ticket. So, it just goes to show the price of baseball and everything else is going up to such a staggering degree that I was just on StubHub. I was just looking at some of the stuff that was available. Yeah, $1,300 was the cheapest ticket, and they go all the way up to almost $10,000, man. So but definitely I'm looking forward to this, and hopefully, those bats will be because usually a lot of these World Series, your big hitters don't necessarily come up, but I know Stanton. He had a huge ALCS. I know Judge, he kind of got off not great, but, he certainly hit a couple home runs in the series or whatnot. Soto came up big in the clutch to capture the series. So hopefully those bats are going to be a lot. I'm anticipating that this is going to be a very high-scoring series. You're not going to see any 2-1 or 3-2 games in this series. Them bats going to be flying. And, so you're going to see offense, which, like I said, I think I can appreciate a well-pitched game more than anybody. But I'm saying if you're going to give me a choice, give me offense when it comes to baseball. I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't think it's going to be coming down to the pitchers per se. I think the Dodgers have a deeper hitting lineup than the Yankees. The Yankees do be down their big hitters, but it's going to be interesting to see, like I said, that travel and the shift in the weather. I think at least 3 to 4 games will be under cooler weather, but it's going to come down to, really just who's hot at the time. It's going to be probably one of the most watched series in the last 25, 30 years, just because you have 1-2 home run, first 50-50 guy. You got stars up and down, so it's going to be an interesting series. I think LA, who has the home field advantage? The Yankees.
I think it starts. It's in New York. So again, 2 games in New York, 3 on the West Coast. So like I said, the first 2 games in New York is going to be the weather should be accommodating. Then of course you're going to have the West Coast weather being the way it is. So yeah, so it shouldn't be, the weather shouldn't really be an issue. But
early in the series may not, but again, as the series goes, the weather is going to shift. It is going to be cool at night. And I think Yankee games pretty much will be at night. So most of the games will be at night.
Yeah, but like I said, I just went out. Like I said, it's warm here. It's not just the 70, 80 degrees. It's been warm, and I walk my dog when I get home about 7 o'clock every night. And I can still go out basically dressed like this.
Next week, what is the weather forecast? It's going to change. So that's going to be the killer.
I'm just looking now. So Friday is going to be a Friday, and Saturday is going to be high of 66. On Friday and Saturday. Sunday is going to be 60. So again, look, I've seen World Series played in the 40s here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying it's like I said, guys got the heavy jackets on and the big, the thermals on and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to be, the weather is not going to warrant that kind of clothing, at least until now. Look, if they can close it out before they come back for game 6 and 7, then yeah, I mean, I think that would be possibly to their advantage or possibly disadvantage because, figure maybe LA, maybe they're not used to playing in the cold. Because, again, I don't recall those Mets games here in New York being incredibly, where weather was a factor. So yeah, I would definitely think that actually I stand corrected. Actually, they start in LA. My bad. So it's actually LA has the home field. So 2 in LA. 3 in New York, and then 2 back in LA. So yeah. So if I was LA, then I definitely want to take them out and not even have to come back to New York if that be the case. So we'll have to see. But I expect to see a lot of offense, hopefully from both of them. But LA, I mean, man, they just put it on the Mets. Mets had no answers, man.
So the series is 2-3-2, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
For the point that you were talking about, that all that travel, like if it was like up and down the coast, like New York, Atlanta, something like that, you could probably get away with a 2-1-1-1 or something like that. But yeah, West Coast, they definitely going to do 2-3-2.
Series has been for a while now. They did the 2-3-2, and I think it's going to be unique again. That travel is not as bad, being that the series is split up like that. Right. But again, if the weather shifts, because again, New York is on the East Coast, it's close to that water. But LA is always a little milder. But if it gets down, because it's daytime, I don't worry about the daytime temperature. It's that when that sun goes down, New York can go from 60 to 42, 38. And that can be effective when it comes to LA Dodgers. So,
right. And I'm saying like so if the weather's going to be, in fact, I was just looking at a 10-day. And again, it's still going to be moderately. Look, next week, right? So you're talking Wednesday of next week is going to be 73 degrees. Thursday, 77. Friday, 67 in New York, in the New York area. So again, I don't think weather's going to be a factor. And if you're going to have that kind of humidity, if it holds in the nighttime, then again, them balls are going to be flying. So again, I'm expecting a lot of 10-8, 10-7, 12-10. Type of games or whatnot, so it'll be entertaining, and I think baseball, as I said earlier, I think baseball's been wanting this, and I think that I think the fans, if they couldn't ask for, I think, a better matchup that's going to draw the 2 largest media markets in the world, New York and LA. So I think this is prime for them. But welcome, Shawnee, to the show. Good to see you, my brother. How are you doing?
What's going on, fellas?
Doing all right. So again, we're doing our sort of our preview of the World Series. So I'll finish up, Coach. So, Coach, who do you like in the series? How many games? What's your prediction?
Oh man, I've always been partial to New York, but just looking at the Dodgers and the way they handled the Mets, I would say Dodgers in 7.
Dodgers in 7. Awesome.
Shawnee? I think there won't be more than one game with both teams score over 6 runs.
So you think it's going to be a low-scoring series?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great defensive battle. And the hitters, it's hard. Again, regular season is always different. I think the top hitters are gonna they're gonna have to do some adjusting, but I think it's gonna be the role players. It's gonna be 5-4 type of games, 6-5 type of games, no 10, 12 point, run game.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be tough.
Shawnee, what are your early impressions on the LA New York World Series? Who do you favor? How many games? Get your prediction in.
Well, I got Dodgers in 6 because of their offense. It's almost like Yankees have the pitching, Dodgers have the hitters. And with the Yankees, it just seems like, well, Stanton has been the hot one. And Judge, he has finally came out of hibernation in the playoffs and knocked a couple of home runs in the ALCS. But me being an Astros fan, I ain't going to root for the Yankees. I mean, Astros didn't make it to the ALCS, and that's when finally the Yankees finally make it to the World Series.
So no AL loyalty there.
Well, I think it's a modern day rivalry. Of course, everybody talks about the Yankees and Red Sox because you can't compete against that tradition, that history. But as far as this modern day and this 2020s, really since the 2010s or 2015, that's when it started. 2015, this Astros Yankees thing just took off as far as modern day baseball. But it's more as far as so far, what I've been seeing with the Yankees is their bats just haven't come alive. It's really Stanton bailed them out on several games.
He did.
Soto will catch in, and then now Judge. But it's really those main 3, but really 2, Stanton and Soto.
Yeah,
you can't really say Judge yet because
that's right.
He's almost like the Clayton Kershaw for the Yankees. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. As a Hall of Fame pitcher that he's going to be, he struggles in the postseason.
Right.
But with the Dodgers, you look at the Dodgers roster, they have 3 MVPs. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Shohei.
Right.
Them boys can hit. I know Coach is talking about he doesn't see nobody getting like over 6 runs. I think if there is a team that's going to be doing it, it's going to be the Dodgers because they can hit.
Yeah.
They went through, they battled a storm versus the hot Mets. And usually in baseball, that means something because usually the hottest team, the ones that ultimately go to the World Series. And Dodgers able to weather that storm. And, so that shows that, they had their share of shortcomings themselves. I think last year they lost in the ALDS versus Arizona. So, it looks like both teams are finally able to get over the hump. Like I said, I have Dodgers in 6. I don't think people really took Dodgers, even though they always finishing near 100 wins or over 100 wins in the regular season. Remember, the only time recently they won the World Series was in that 2020 season when they played 60 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, media, I know ESPN, they going to salivate all on this thing. But yeah, I just think it'll definitely be Dodgers if Ohtani was pitching. He's only swinging the bat this year.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe. Well, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they try to put him in the bullpen for a game. But who knows? But yeah, I got Dodgers in 6.
Dodgers in 6. I'm gonna play some psychological warfare. Again, I've been a Yankee fan since 1977. I'm picking the Dodgers in 6. Hopefully, I'll jinx myself, but go Yankees. But yeah, I mean, I saw against the Mets. I mean, Mets put it on them, but they just kept. It's almost like Rocky fighting Clubber Lang the first time. It's like you go out trying to kill them, and they just keep coming back. So yeah, so unless the pitching shows up for the Yankees, they may be in for a tough time. But I'm just hoping that's certainly a competitive series. So I will be watching that. But switching gears a little bit. So Shawnee, I want to certainly give you the floor. So you would introduce this topic. So we're going to get into the football and whatnot, towards the back end of the show. But certainly you wanted this topic covered. So there's a major story that's breaking right now in the sports world, especially concerning NIL and Kendrick Perkins. And there's actually a clip, and I don't know, BMU, if you're back there, if you can cue that clip and have it ready, where basically Kendrick with some partners, they've created this company. And but I don't want to steal Shawnee's thunder. So again, you can set this up, and then hopefully, if we get a video here that you can that we can have played, that will outline the story further.
Yeah. So just well, Black Man, go ahead and play the video, and then I'll come after the video.
Champion Kendrick Perkins taking advantage of NIL. Perkins co-founded a company called Nilly. Nilly offers upfront cash to high school and college athletes in exchange for a portion of the athlete's NIL earnings. The company will get exclusive rights to use or sell the athlete's name, image, and likeness for up to 7 years. And on the flip side of that, Nilly receives between 10% and 50% of the player's NIL earnings during that time period. Many critics are raising their eyebrows, comparing parts of the deal to a high-interest loan or a deal that comes with a steep price for the athletes. Currently, Nilly has signed 20 athletes who are all football or men's basketball players. The company states it's the first and currently the only company to offer cash advances in exchange for a cut of their NIL earnings. So what do you
Yeah, so this is and it's what's interesting about this. I found another article about this story, and one thing that's interesting is that most of this has been broken by an ESPN reporter. So now Kendrick, who's already re-up, but we all know last couple of years, ESPN, they did somewhat of a purge of their roster, and Kendrick was actually extended, got signed a contract extension. So again, the reporter is Dan Murphy, who made this. So I don't see how that works in terms of how you're going to report on your own company. How that clear legal and how that clear legal and everything else. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. You go out there and report on somebody else. Don't be coming out stuff up. So how that story got out, I have no idea. But nevertheless, this seems to be which I think you can't help, but it has to bring some credibility to some of the concerns that have been raised here. So so some additional notes here. So again, the upfront payments. Again, everything that was said in the video was correct. I just want to give a little more clarification. So the upfront payments can range from $25,000 up to hundreds of $1,000s, with the company receiving anywhere between 10 and 50% of the NIL earnings for up to 7 years, and just in another now. Here's another bit here. It says that Nilly signed a high school athlete, which pays the player $50,000 in exchange for exclusive rights to his NIL for the next 7 years, with the company taking 25% of the player's future earnings up to $125,000. So this is but this is a high school player. So I don't know if each deal, if this is like a standard deal, like obviously it said 10 up to 50% of a player's earnings over that 7-year period from NIL. So yeah, I mean, definitely the fish test is definitely on this guy. So so Sean, you can certainly share your thoughts on this, and we'll go to Coach. But and now I'll follow up with my own. But if you want to further line of how you feeling about this and in this process?
Yeah. So one Perkins, he's still at ESPN. He's one of ESPN's shining stars, really. That's why he was able to get the extension. So, matter of fact, I just saw him on First Take and all the NBA related shows this morning and all throughout the day. So he's still at ESPN. He's not doing anything wrong per se. It's just, especially in the Black community, because you heard in the video they was comparing it to, like predatory loans,
right?
And
yeah,
those companies. So in the Black community, those are already like evil to us because they the one who they hurt us. And
Yeah, it's the loan sharking, right?
Yeah. You see those, especially here in Texas. You go to like the black communities, they sitting right there, like in it, outside of it, all over the place, like Cash Advance and all those places. But so you
Then the
looking
places
at
you
it,
get paid, and you take your
they
Friday
interest
paycheck,
rate.
you take the check there, and they turn it over, that kind of thing.
Yeah, give you cash in advance and hit you hard with the interest.
Yeah.
So you listen to some of the details that was summarized in that clip. Perkins, he co-founded a company called Nilly, and I don't know when he co-founded, so you're assuming it was 50-50. I don't know if it was somebody really came up with the idea and they just using Perkins as a face.
Yeah, he's definitely got some Wall Street guys, some
Yeah.
finance guys behind him. So again, yeah, I don't know. They could be the masterminds behind it, and again, he's just the face of it, or he's the guy who goes and recruits the players. Because I know we've seen those kind of arrangements as well. But yeah, he's definitely got some guys with some Wall Street type of backgrounds who are backing this up.
Yeah, so you was bringing up some of the key points, Mr. Bennett, about some of the details of when the players sign with them and the percentage that they have to give back to the company and whatnot. So I can really see how it's crossing that line of these uh predatory lending companies that we have that we really don't care about.
Mm-hmm.
But it also goes to show you pretty much just how desperate some of these right now it's just only men. It's only young men who signed up with me. And I was watching another clip where he was actually talking about it and basically replying to some of I think it was the article and some other stuff that was spoken about it. He basically was like, he was on this one podcast, one dude. He was saying on there that this is the only way he's gonna talk about, only time he's gonna talk about it, only podcast he's gonna really bring it up because he don't really trip about it because he's saying, the boys, the young men that we already have signed currently, they're not complaining. Now, me personally, I'm like, of course they're not really complaining now because they're getting the money. They're going to be complaining when they pretty much done with school and all of a sudden this interest rate going to hit them and they earnings, they still owe, you know, they find out their checks and their NIL deals, whatever they get, they losing some of that. And then also 7 years down the road, they still paying this particular loan. That's what it is. It's a loan. But it just shows you how desperate some of the this young generation is that they want so bad now with the NIL deals, how you can get, cars, jewelry or whatnot, appear to be like this big man on campus because he was able to afford all these flashy items. So they don't mind selling, signing basically their immediate rights away just so they can get this upfront cash in advance. I remember when I was in school, right before cell phones really kicked off, it was those Nokia cell phones. And you basically had to there was salesmen walking around campus, and it was almost like a credit card. And I remember people was signing up for these cell phones, and all of a sudden they was calling. Next thing you know, it was just getting hit with these huge bills. Remember, this was before unlimited minutes. This was before unlimited text. So you was really just getting hit with these huge bills and wasting all these minutes. So it almost looks like that. I can't really. It's not like he's forcing these young men to sign. They run into him because they want the money so bad.
Right.
And the parents, they obviously have their eyebrows raised against these predatory loaners that's in their own community. They see no reason for their young men to go sign with this particular company. I mean, it's like you have to have some type of financial responsibility, but you can't ask that from young men. So you hope from the parents be like, nah, man, you don't do this because biggest thing we worried about back then was student loans. Because you know when they was getting student loans, and then when you get an abundance, they get that overpayment check. And I remember at PV, you knew some people had an overpayment checks. Next thing you know, they were riding around with rims on their cars and whatnot, not knowing that, you got to pay for this when you get out of school.
Right.
But it's that I look at it as that same level. Go ahead, Coach.
You muted, Coach.
I'm sorry. Just based off what I heard, I think the only issue that I really see is the percentages and the years. Because think about it. You may not get an NIL. Maybe, okay, if I'm a top high school recruit, top 300, whatever, your NIL, you don't really need nobody like that. Wait on your goddamn money. Wait on that shit. You don't need, and if you're talking high schoolers, that's just like Mr. Bennett. I come up to you and I got this deal, and you and Shawnee, y'all seem like y'all responsible. Listen, man, I got this deal for y'all son. He gonna get NIL. I can give y'all $50,000 up front, but he going to give me 50% of what he making coming down the road. Y'all go agree to that shit? Hell no. It comes down to the parents. The parents are the fucking guardian of the child. High school boys, no, don't take this deal. It's too long. Your NIL ain't gonna last 7 years. Now, if you make it to the league, this stuff right here should teach you about how to budget your fucking money. The NIL is gonna come as you start. You don't need nobody to give you an advance. It's just unfortunate. I think it could work. It's too much off the top of your money. I think. I can see if it was 8, 9, because an agent gets what? Maybe if you make 20 million, an agent might get 3 million of your 20. But you only getting some NIL deals are worth $5,000.
Yeah.
Why would you give up 50% of that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing I was trying to research before the show started was, again, with these deals, when do you get paid? I thought initially when I first heard it, because again, I didn't research that thoroughly. I thought then that players must get their NIL money as long as they're after their schooling is over. So whether you stay 4 years at a college or you go at bounce after 1 year, whatever you make in that year, you get it on the back end as long as you're at that institution. So it would almost make sense to say, well, look, you don't have to wait until you graduate or 4 years later before you get your NIL. We can front you some money now if you need it. That's what I thought. But then I looked, but I'm saying, but then I looked up. It says there's no rules in terms of when or timeline when you can get NIL money. It depends on the deal that you negotiate. So you can get money up front in an NIL deal. So I'm thinking, well, if you can get it like that, then why do you need Perk and his company if you can, have your deals up front? But so again, to me, this just points to there is a lack of parental, because again, and let's face it, a lot of these players, we talk about basketball and football players primarily, parents are not involved. We all know, Trey, that it's grandma that they go into who raised them pretty much, or grandpa, not necessarily most astute when it comes to money, but they go in with that elevator speech and that elevator pitch that gets them going, saying this will be a great opportunity for them. But yeah, I mean, involve parents like the three of us. We can smell that a mile away. So, but I don't think that's who Kendrick would go after. If he looked at the profile of that athlete and said, "Oh, he got mommy and daddy," no, we don't need to talk to him. He lived with grandma. Oh, we'll talk to him.
Even if it's just grandma, it just goes to show how broken and disconnected we are, because grandmama could be a primary caregiver of a young man. Okay, cool. Grandmama got bills. Grandmama thinking about, I can pay my bills, da-da-da. But why do you need a third party if your son is that type of guy and he's bringing in top tier NILs, even mid-level NILs? Let's say, because Angel Reese and these other young ladies are making $2 or $3 million a year. Well, excuse me. If I could get $150,000 off of NIL, that's life changing. I don't need to rush it and go, what does he do? He's not an agent. He's not going to get me more NIL deals down the road.
Right.
It wastes his time, and it goes to show the predatory loans and loan sharks that come and focus on these I would say, as Deion Sanders said, he searches for linemen who was raised by their mama. This is that same type of mindset. You focus on these guys who are, and they don't understand it, because if you get an NIL, as your season starts, you start performing, you getting the NILs, you going to these events, you showing up, shaking kids' hands, taking pictures, they gonna pay you your damn money. Why do I need to go to you so you can take 50% of my money off the top? And 7 years, I might not get my NIL number 2 or 3 years. Why would I be in a debt to you for 7 years?
Right. But I'm saying, but that to me, see, that's that issue. The NILs that are saying that you're not going to get your money for 2 or 3 years down the line. I mean, I'm asking the question: what's going on with them, or how can they get it?
I'll take that. I'd rather take that than to have to owe somebody 7 years down the road after my NIL. I'll take 2 years.
But my thing is that money guaranteed? Because just like with the professional players,
they gotta pay you.
Yeah.
No, well, again, it depends on the terms. Like, let's say if you blow out your knee in your freshman year, then that may negate anything else out of it. So again, unless
black people, read your damn contracts. Read it. Read it. I read every damn thing. Yes, y'all want to get all the goddamn stats out here. Read your damn contracts. If it take your ass 2 weeks to read it, get somebody that can read better than you.
Get a lawyer.
Read the contract. Circle that shit where you seem confused. Go find somebody smarter than you and read it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think these kids or these homes that Kendrick is going after, I don't think that either they don't know or they don't have those resources. Again, they're going to prey on those who are maybe the most destitute, and they just think of this as an opportunity. Again, and it's also, it's Kendrick Perkins, NBA champion, 6'9", coming into your house or whatever.
Somebody who falls into this type of trap.
Yeah, because it's like this. It's like this because it's NIL is, it's not NCAA. It's the companies or whoever outside. It's whatever your contract. So there's legit NIL contracts out there. I remember there was a student athlete who was taking advantage of an NIL because they're still young. I think it happened in Florida, and just a NIL, and it was done basically how we kind of looking at this Nilly company right now. But that was an NIL. He obviously didn't read his contract, and they talking about even after school, he owed, there's going to take cuts. I don't think he was just going to take cuts of his future earnings. But with this, obviously, if you in an NIL deal, I know we brought up Angel Reese, Angel Reese is different because I guess as a woman, she was able to, she's an attractive young lady.
But
so she was able to
made $2 million.
Yeah, because she was able to get these bigger NIL deals as far as modeling and what like that. So maybe higher standing companies. Mm-hmm. Some players, who knows, they may get NIL deals from a local business and whatnot. They're still getting, thousands of bucks, but not no million like Reese. But the fact that they're getting NIL deals, I think of many of these student athletes, with these young men who are signing up with this particular company, they not getting those opportunities from these NIL. They trying to keep up with the Joneses. Mm-hmm. They trying to, they got a teammate who getting these NIL deals. So they saying, they living nice. They college student, the most impressionable time in your life when you in college. They seeing their teammates able to afford these things. So they may not be talented enough to get these NIL deals. But now they have this new company who will loan them the money, give them this money pretty much now because in advance, these cash advance system. Mm. And now they may not get this $500K or $1 million NIL deal, but they have $150K, which in college, it damn near might as well be $1 million. They could still go purchase a nice vehicle with $150K. So those the ones I believe who are really looking at, I didn't go to the website and see exactly, how agents' website, they'll have all their clients listed. I don't know if his website will have all the ones who signed.
Yeah, it said there were 20. Said 20 total high school high school
Yeah.
and college. So some of these guys we didn't know unless you really
Man, you
follow
know, high school, they definitely just trying to keep up with the Joneses, man. They just
So
going
that's what I'm saying.
blind.
I think his clientele, who he's going after thus far, are not again the sharpest. I mean, this isn't going to be your who's the man plays for Memphis. Oh geez,
John Morant.
Yeah, it's not going to be him. That he's going to be going after.
Because if Ja was in college now, he would be getting those huge NIL deals.
Yeah,
where his teammates would be like, "Damn, I want that," but they not getting that opportunity. Okay,
to me, it's almost like these like that big baller league that LeVar Ball started, and those guys are getting. I guess they're getting money for playing. It's not much. I mean, it might be I don't know $50,000 or whatever it is. But again, you getting money. Relatively speaking, I'm just saying, but it's putting money in their pocket. At least that's the sales pitch. Don't go to college. You can play. You don't have to go to college to play ball. You can play in this league, and you can still get drafted. And again, we have seen that as of late, that a lot of these guys who are getting drafted in the first round of NBA did not go to college, but they played in these academy leagues, or they're coming from Europe. So again, college is not necessarily a place that you have to go, but I thought the idea was, well, if we allow NIL, well, then that'll help us with retention of these players in college. But you do have these leagues, these sort of semi-pro leagues that are coming around where guys can get some compensation, and still potentially get drafted in the NBA. So again, there's a lot of options that these players have to have at their disposal. But again, for you to be, regardless of the situation you find yourself in, you need to be able to, as Trey Ferg said, that you need to be able to read the fine print and find out what works best for you. If you're so destitute that you need that money up front, and again, and that's the mentality also. You said, Shawnee, they want to get that car for $150,000, but is that a need?
They at that age, they don't care. They trying to keep up with the Joneses. They don't care because they think they getting the money now. They living the life now. Because even in school, when we was in school, it's the same concept with student loans. But we like in school they always say you get a loans, you go get a job, you'll be able to pay that back. That's how they always try to frame and paint the picture while you was in school. And if you keep gathering these student loans, they say you left with this huge student loans that's going to basically take you a lifetime to pay. But with this, so it's kind of the same concept with this. It's just now you looking at, student athletes, young, let's say some in high school still currently and young college age. But now, not only because student loans is basically something you got to pay back. And if you don't pay it, I guess you get in trouble with the government, then they'll come take it out.
They're going to
But this one, exactly. But this one, and not only, you may get another NIL deal, you may ultimately, and I think y'all brought this up, you sign this, and for whatever reason, and then you, maybe by year 3 in college, when maybe your skill level has progressed, now you get an NIL deal, a legit NIL deal. But
and they
sign with Nilly. You sign with Nilly.
That goes with it. That goes with it. Yeah. You better off don't improve your game. Don't improve your game. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're better off.
That's gonna piss you off.
This whole thing just plays into how I'm gonna try to be nice. Just how we have digressed in the last few years. I was in college in 1986. Blue chip. It wasn't called NIL, but we used to go and get our little $200, $250 a week. We balled off of that. I'm talking about living. You on scholarship. Your school is paid for. And the problem is people don't take advantage of the education part. Because if you on scholarship, school is paid for, you still complete your FAFSA. That's a couple of thousand. You still can get all the grants and everything. And especially if you're making honor roll, they're giving you scholarship money. I had a kid that had $200,000 worth of scholarship money. $200,000 worth of scholarship money, all 4 years of him going to Eastern Kentucky. That's $800,000 a year. The boy still got, and he did that. Well, let me see, $200,000 every 4 years. So he had $800,000. The boy, I talked to him, he still got over $600,000 because everything was paid for. He served his time. Then he got a nice little job. So it can happen. It's just that people are so greedy and want, like Shawnee said, we want to keep up with the Joneses. That's what poor-minded people do. We want everything up front. And then you get yourself in this type of deal. I guarantee at least 10 of them going to be crying when they get out of school and they ain't making that NIL deals. Because the only way you keep that NIL, you got to be being an athlete. Ain't going to be no Shelby Park NIL deals at the park. So if you're not playing, you're going to be in debt to these people for the rest of your life. It makes no sense. And they probably charge you interest and everything on this shit.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Next level MF, again, welcome. Good to have you on the show. I know he asked the question, do you think the NIL deals will do more harm than good? Not for the players, but more harm to the high school and college sports. I think the NIL is just remove the cover from what was already there. Because again, I think these schools are simply, and even the high schools, because I know certainly in Jersey, I don't know how it is in Texas, I'm sure it is, but some of these high schools, especially the parochial ones, the private ones or whatnot, it's all about the money. Yeah. So again, the idea of how do you get players to go to your school, whether it be high school or college? How do you retain talent? Because again, we've seen a severe drop in the ratings for men's college basketball. I think the women for the first time this year outdid the men when it came to the Final Four. And so I think for these schools, they're looking to use the NIL or allow the NIL to see that these guys can stay in school, especially on the women's side. Because I thought I saw there was a post by April Angel Reese talking about she only makes like $74,000 a year on her WNBA contract. All the other money comes from endorsements and all that, but she made way more money in college than she does as a professional athlete. I'm talking about the salary from the league.
Yeah, for her, but I think women's college, they always tend to stay in college longer than the male counterparts, even before NIL deal, because
there's no money in the WNBA.
But you remember a lot of them also go play overseas and they make money over there. But they generally will stay in school longer because they trying to get their game up. With the men, because of the money that they have access to so early, it's like, why stay when I can just go get this money? And I know for whatever reason, I took the time and sit there and type my response in the comments. But basically, what I'll put like NIL, I believe the NIL is good because basically, like players in the past have always been fighting for. Like I said, I clearly remember that whole Johnny Manziel and how much money he could have made if NIL existed. Yeah. And A&M was sitting there in the background just making money off of him. They was trying to sell his jersey. Can you remember? And a lot of time with them college jerseys, they don't have the names back there, but you recognize the number. Yeah. And A&M sitting there and NCAA had Manziel's jersey on sale, just making a killing because Manziel mania back then was crazy that 1 year. And then all of a sudden when it was called out, they took it off the website. So they definitely, was making, if NIL existed back in the Fab Five days, all five of them.
Go even back. I go back to the Running Rebels of UNLV.
Exactly.
That team there. I mean, and those were getting paid. Like we all saw the documentaries later. How they were
Pony
getting hooked
Express
up.
Was SMU.
SMU, yeah. So it's
a
Eric
good
Dixon
thing
got a Corvette. Eric Dixon got a Corvette. A gold Corvette.
Yeah.
No, it was a gold. I mean, watch his NFL life.
So it's always been a good thing because they fought for this because you making money off of me and I don't see a dime. They wasn't the percentage varied, but they just wanted something because it's me you making the money off of. But because so that's what I say is good. But I always thought that it needs order. Right now it's the Wild Wild West. And because the audience, the target audience is these younger athletes, they don't know nothing about their future, nor do they care right now. Right. They getting potential access to thousands, some of them millions so early. And like we was talking about the dude from Florida, these people who's giving them these contracts, giving these opportunities, you don't know what their ulterior motive is. So they just sign a contract. All you care about is signing. And once they sign, they got you. So, yeah.
NIL is almost like a 401k. It goes wherever you go. If you that man and you get an NIL, say from your freshman year coming into college, understand, NIL is extra. Your ass is on scholarship. You got everything paid for. NIL is extra. And it has nothing to do with the school. Mm-hmm. You can have 5, 6 NIL deals going on at the same time. 10 of them if you the type of guy. Angel Reese, Shedeur Sanders is prime examples. Over millions of dollars NIL.
Travis Hunter, he got a mansion right now.
Yeah. So that's crazy. Even and that's the thing. So if you playing, whether you at Jackson State or Colorado, if you the man, those endorsement deals are going to follow you, and you sign those contracts like you should, and you save your damn money. Don't get your little chain, because that's all black folk want is a chain and a car. Don't get no damn apartment. Buy your 2-bedroom condo or house, or if you sell it, you can get the fucking dividends off of that. Don't get no fancy apartment, because you ain't doing nothing to make somebody else rich. So let's get you a 2-bedroom condo. Then if you leave, sell it, get the little, what's it called? I forget. I done bought a couple of houses. Good, man.
Just an additional note. The partner that Kendrick Perkins got with this guy, his name is Chris Riccardi, and he is, like I said, a Wall Street guy. So those are the two.
Man, come on, man. That's a Ponzi scheme all day. Wall Street ain't nothing but a Ponzi scheme. That's a Ponzi scheme all day long. So he's just the face of it.
So what do you think is the outcome? Is this going to grow in focus? Like I said, I'm still shocked that this was an ESPN broken story again on one of their major talents. So that had that clear the press room, I have no idea. But what do you think the outcome's going to be? Is it going to be negative? Do you think it's going to be something that Kendrick is going to have to address on air at some point? Or I haven't seen anything major where he addressed it. Like, you know,
he did off the podcast, and he said on the podcast he's not going to address it no more. Right? Because you can't. It's not illegal what he's doing. It's just the first of its kind, you know. So it's not illegal, and boys are willingly signing up for it. So you and like I said, that clip, they got the clip. They know, okay, if I sign another NIL deal, a cut of that going to the company, and 7 years, they know this. And if they willing to sign, it's not like nobody.
But even in the loan business, right? Aren't there's supposed to be some FDIC rules, some sort of regulation over stuff? I mean, to ask for 50% of someone's anything, or what if cards were 50% interest? You know what I mean? I mean, to me, there has to be some kind of oversight or something on this. But I mean,
who's because NILs are not really associated with NCAA? Who's going to regulate that?
Right.
Yeah, it's
but he's not here's the thing though, and this is why I think people, again, get involved in your children's lives. There should be an age restriction, because NIL is 18 to 24 while you're in college, in a sense. But even with signing up for him, you have to really understand 7 years. 7 years is too goddamn long, because your NIL is only going to be, and I think in Angel Reese's case, you know, she's been able to take her NIL from college and now into the pros. You know what I'm saying? If you have that type of, money draw, star power, then your NIL will last with you till your playing career is over. But if you know you just out of the 300 top players in the country, listen.
You just an average student athlete.
Take your damn scholarship money, get your little $40,000, $50,000 NIL, save that shit, buy your little fake gold chain and all the little stuff for your friends, get you a nice little car. Save your money, and then when you get the big deal, then you can go big. But don't sign a third party in between you and your money for $50,000. It makes no sense. And then I guarantee half of these people go come back crying, and give them about 2 or 3 years. He took my money. I like to see the parents. I like
You know a
Oh,
documentary in a
so,
few years we're gonna get. Remember that the documentary Hoop Dreams?
yeah.
Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Hoop Dreams. So 10 years from now, we gonna get another documentary out in the Hoop Dreams revisited in the NIL era, and focus in on those kids who didn't get the $1 million ones or whatever, but got the kind of the low end and kind of see how that all worked out. I just got a feeling that you're gonna get some documentaries or something gonna come out to say, take the scabs off it. So it's not, like I said, it's not like the condominiums that people buy and then they realize you can't get out of it once you sign the contract. It's going to be a lot of those kind of stories. At least I have a feeling coming out of it. But and
I'll say one, cause I see next level. He brought up a comment by Tim Tebow. Remember Tim Tebow? He was never a fan of NIL. He was like student athletes. So
college
I don't even,
rah.
I don't even think Tim Tebow even signed an NIL deal if they offered him one. And
Yeah.
he would have gotten paid, but he probably would have canceled it. But
Totally.
yeah, but it's if you not, cause again, NILs, the big one, the Angel Reese, the Travis Hunters, the Shador Standards, they're bigger names in college sports. They're going to get the deals. They're going to get the deals, and they deals may not have the constraints as some of their teammates that are lower on the totem pole if they get an NIL deal, because that respective company, that player is known. We gonna make some money off of them. We don't need to put all these, And Sanders, his dad, they already got that lawyer or something. I'm pretty damn sure as soon as he signs something, they looking at it with a fine. You ain't gonna get him. You ain't gonna get him.
Yeah.
And Hunter is basically the same way because Sanders look at him as a son as well. So that's probably why he able to get this mansion off of his NIL deal. Nice looking house too. But
they're not looking at just trying to get money. They're trying to build,
yeah,
legacy.
they're different because
that's a different ideology altogether.
And I think the ones who just, if you are not getting the major NIL deals, but you are getting a scholarship, that's not light. Take the scholarship and just basically get a free education. Because trust me, when you are out of school, I don't even care if you still owe back $10K. You are not going to like paying that money, $10K back from a student loan.
Right.
But if you got a scholarship and they give you money, and then scholarship grants, and do like a regular college student, just get your money, free money.
But
I got you. Yeah.
Even with I used to do this all the time with students, right? Even if you get, there's no limit on the amount of scholarship money you can get, right? Let's just say you're a brainiac, you're getting all of these different scholarships. You apply for some of them the school's going to give you. Still apply for your FAFSA.
Mm-hmm.
Still apply for your FAFSA. That's going to be at least $5,000 to $8,000 a year just off of that.
But coach, don't sign a Nelly contract first before because then you screwed in.
No, don't sign that at all. Don't touch nothing that somebody else coming. Listen, because I can tell y'all what, for all you NIL projected, you stars, listen, my deal is much sweeter than Kendrick's. I only need 20%. I don't need 50. I need give me 20%.
It said 10 to 50. So again, but even then, that's a ridiculous sliding scale to me. Under what terms do you deserve 50% of anything? I don't care how good the deal is or whatever.
Even
still,
if you make $2 million, you're gonna get $1 million of money.
Yeah, you will. But I'm just saying. But who in their right mind would sign? I don't anything close to 50. Look, God forbid if I ever got divorced, I'm trying to not get my wife to get 50. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that's under no circumstances should 50 be considered in any negotiation.
50, you be like, nah, I gotta give you 10 because
10%.
I gotta give Perk and them 40% of mine.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. But the only thing I want to just to tie a bow on this because we got about 20 minutes left in the show, so. Just to tie a bow on this, the only thing is we keep talking about get the education. But again, we have to be also realistic about what that even means. Because that doesn't even mean what it used to. There's only a few, there's probably less than 10% of what's available in college that is going to yield to a profitable career. And how many of these people who are in school getting an education, most of these guys who get their degrees, what's it, in exercise, business management or some economics or something like that. So again, most of these degrees are not going to make you any money anyway out in the field, unless you're going for engineering, the STEM, the law, the legal and whatnot. And do a lot of these kids even have the aptitude to even pursue those? So again, I know we talk about getting education, but education in what? It's because you still have to have a value proposition in terms of the education. If my kids went to college for basket weaving, I'm not paying for that. So look, you want that, you can pay for that yourself. I'm not paying for you to get basket weaving. So education, we have to be, it has to be a more granular argument to say what type of education that you're getting and how that's going to benefit you in life down the line.
Brother Bennett, like if you're on scholarship, so when you come out of school, basically you debt free. If you get a job making $60,000, that's comparable living for somebody.
But again,
25, single, no children. You can live pretty well, and then you work over the years. You're going to get your raises and increases. But
again, it's about your aptitude. Okay, so what jobs are going to pay out the gate $60,000 that you can get with a general education degree?
A gym teacher at a high school.
Nowadays, probably so.
I'm just saying, a lot of people don't like people. People don't like people. That's why they don't give a damn about the kids. That's what I see. I don't see hardly any black man in schools at all. It might be the janitor, security, but as far as like going through,
the janitors might be making $60,000, but I'm just saying you don't have to. I know in New York area, yeah, you easily make $60,000-$75,000 as a janitor here, but you don't got to go to 4-year school, even if it's free. So I'm just saying, that free education, I mean, I would hope you would do something with it that could be productive in the future. That's all I'm saying. Because that piece of paper, I trust me, I work with plenty of people who got degrees and still can't find jobs at being a year out of school, even with that paper. So again, that may not necessarily lead to anything.
They didn't want a job. The degree does give you options. They didn't want a job. Just understand that. It gives you options. I know people with associate degrees making good money. I know guys with 3-time felons making $80,000 a year. So they didn't want to work, to me. But it just goes, if you're coming out of school and you've had the scholarship, you had the NIL. Now I can understand your first year, you're getting your checks, you balling and eating out. Poor people do all the dumb shit that you shouldn't do when you first get the money. But by that time, you're getting a little bit more mature. You looking, you ain't got to buy as much. You stand in the college dorm. That shit is a small studio apartment. So you can't put a whole lot of stupid stuff in there. You save your money. You get out of college. You have $100,000, $200,000 in the bank. Get your little job, making $60,000, $70,000 a year. Hell, you can live good the rest of your life. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm too old for the young people who want to just spend all their money and be broke and beg for it on the back end.
That makes sense.
I ain't giving y'all shit. You gonna work.
Yeah, the common sense of financial. You don't have to be no financial whiz, to just keep yourself out of debt. But because there's so much outside factors that young folks are pretty much getting hit by every day. They see stuff on social media. This whole lifestyle is because that's the only thing I could. Because we was talking about it, that's the only thing I could really see why would I want to go sign with this company knowing I'm at to owe them when I get out.
Yeah.
Because you're just trying to keep up with somebody. And you probably got a teammate who's getting legit NIL deals. And you're just trying to keep up with the Joneses. But you're going to mess around and lose some money.
Yeah, well, the only thing you got to hope for in that situation is that, because, again, they're going to use your name, image, and likeness to try to make money for themselves. So you better hope then that they can take your name and your brand and make something with it. So if they do land $1 million deal with you or something like that or whatever it is, you better hope that they're successful with it. Otherwise, they come coming. So but let's say we got about 10 minutes left in the show. So what I'm going to do is like we did last time. So again, obviously we got NFL Week 7. So I'm just going to put up the bullet point stories. And any one of you can take any one of these stories in any direction that you want. Fortunately, this week we don't have to talk about the Cowboys since it was their bye week, so that's not going to be on the schedule. But the key stories from this past week, and then there was one. So Kansas City still undefeated, and today they just got DeAndre Hopkins for a 5th-round draft pick. You had the Lions beat the Vikings. Okay, so again, Vikings making a case that they might be the best team in the NFC. Washington Commanders still keep winning. Daniels, he got a little dinged up, but they continue to impress. And then you also have Russell Wilson gets his start for the first time as a Steeler. So it looks like, Tomlin, certainly pull the trigger. I know we talked about that last week. Should he stay with Justin Fields or go with Wilson? And then the last story, again, the Ravens went down to Tampa Bay and just beat up. I know receivers for the Bucs got some major injuries, so certainly wishing those guys well. But the Ravens look like they whatever this bad start that they got to, that ball is definitely rolling downhill. So any one of those stories. So we got the Kansas City with their undefeated and with their new acquisition. We got the Lions over the Vikings, Washington Commanders, and again Steelers, Russell Wilson, and then we got the Ravens. So you can take any one of those. We can kind of go around with that, and then we can look to wrap up the show. Anywhere you want to go with that. Shawnee, you can start it. Yeah.
I'm going to Kansas City route because I'm happy for DeAndre Hopkins because he finally get to land on a team that has a legit shot of winning. Me being a Texas fan, I know how great of a receiver he is. Never been flashy, had this flashy, eye-opening speed, but has excellent hands that you really haven't really seen since Larry Fitzgerald. I remember 2018, he went that whole season without even dropping a pass. Mm-hmm. And just some of the numbers that he posted up when he was at Houston before Deshaun Watson came, it was like a rotation at quarterback for 4 straight years, and he was still putting like 1,000-yard seasons. So I like a lot of the receivers like Justin Jefferson, a lot of receivers we talk about today, you don't even know if they would be able to do that if you put him in that situation. Remember, one of his quarterbacks was Brock Osweiler.
Right.
So, I'm happy for him. But a quick question is still dealing with KC. Does your past accomplishments whitewash any future criticism? Like, can you, based on what you have done in the past, does it basically shield you from any future criticism?
I think it gives you. I think it borrows some time, but the NFL is not for long. So NFL is a what have you done for me lately league. But that doesn't mean. I mean, the Steelers got Super Bowls, and they've been trying to fire Mike Tomlin for the past 10 years. So yes, it only gets you only so much. We all know what happened with Jimmy and Jerry. That didn't go very far after winning on them Super Bowls. So yeah, it doesn't buy you a whole lot. Only so far that what you're able to put up with until they think they can do something without you. So no, I think it. I think you can still be open for criticism, and I don't care even if Kansas City three-peats. They go on losses, then there'll be some changes.
I only ask that because everybody understands Patrick Mahomes. People are already trying to put him above Brady right now. They think he's going to ultimately eclipse Brady's 7 rings. So we understand right now Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now. But currently, if it was, I damn sure know if it was Dak Prescott doing this right now. Currently, Mahomes leads the NFL in interceptions, and his interceptions to touchdown ratio is low. Currently, he has 8 interceptions, only thrown 6 touchdown passes. So he has a 2-to-1 interception to touchdown ratio, which is not good, especially for a quarterback of his talent. Remember, last year, it was always about his receivers dropping. No, this year, I've seen Mahomes throwing picks that you're like, damn, Mahomes, you didn't see this dude? Because it's like it's uncharacteristic for him. But because of the Chiefs winning, he went to 3. He won 3 Super Bowls, and they're currently undefeated. So it's like, okay, is it fair to criticize Mahomes and his play right now? Because if this was Josh Allen and how everybody loved the interception narrative for him, they would be all jumping down his bones, especially if he threw that much interceptions. He has more picks than TD passes.
You got to lose. So yeah, I mean, again, this is a replay of last year. all the drops last year, all the issues with it, and again, an embarrassment of riches. They get a DeAndre Hopkins when everybody was thinking, okay, maybe with their wide receivers banged up, maybe now that there's chink in the armor, and you give him this gift, don't even trade him out of the conference, and he lands with the Chiefs for a 5th rounder. So they just keep. I don't know what's on them. They got the magic dust on them, or the Holy Spirit. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Booker is, he's the religious guy. Maybe he's got some. I don't know what's happening. This team just keeps winning. Like I said, I picked Kansas City against the field. And if anybody who is capable at this point in time of three-peating is going to be them, and ultimately you have to beat Patrick Mahomes. And until somebody can prove that they can do that, it's happened on occasion.
Right now, the Chiefs are not winning because of Mahomes. The Chiefs are winning games right now because
well, that's the thing. The defense.
And last year was the same thing. Last year was the same thing.
So again, but we saw the same script last year. Once they kick going, all they got to do is get to the playoffs or whatever, and it just seems to go.
Get him, coach.
I thought he was being Patrick Mahomes trying to swat the gnats away. The people trying to say we can't win again or something like that. But I'm just saying until to beat a man, you got to beat the man.
You got to be able to pew.
until you can do that, I'm not betting against them. So again, I got none of this. I'm sure there's some people who are huddled up looking to pounce if there's a chink in the armor or whatever. But again, as long as that defense is going to be there, Patrick, the last couple years, he gets it going at the right time as long as he's healthy. And even when he's been unhealthy, hobbling around, he still finds ways to beat you. So I just think that, the criticism, you may have something under your breath, but until somebody can prove, now again, Baltimore,
nobody can say
I'll just move to mine. Baltimore is a problem. I mean, I'm a Steelers fan. Like I said off the rip, I mean, first of all, I didn't appreciate the Tampa Bay. You let them come into your own backyard and smack you around like that. I did not appreciate.
Well, they was hanging with them until Evans got hurt, and then it changed.
It definitely did. But again, I mean, what's the name? The quarterback throwing 3 interceptions or whatever. I mean, I didn't appreciate at all. But Baltimore is a problem. And so, on our end, we're talking about. I know we got Russell Wilson, who again, I think showed why he's the quarterback. Again, the way he passed the ball. Again, he has touch. Feels he can throw that ball. He can wing it like a rifle. But you got to be able to lay those passes in there with that touch that Russell clearly has. He's a better thrower of the football, and the running game was still prominent. Now you can say it's the Jets, but again, coming into that game, Jets had the 7th ranked defense. So, they still did well. Now, I do think they need some help at the receiver position. I think Roman Wilson, I think he's going to be a bust because I don't know if he's hurt or he was like a healthy scratch or whatever. But my thing is, if you're going to draft in the 3rd round a wide receiver, he needs to be game 1 ready. And I don't think he's going to be a factor, certainly not this year. So, again, I still think they need to go out and get somebody. I know they're talking about Cooper Kupp, trying to get him, but I don't like him. He's 31 years old, always banged up. And so I'm not trusting that either. But again, I'm scared of the Ravens right now. But my only saving grace is that with lifetime with the Ravens and Jackson, we're 8-2. Okay, against Lamar Jackson. So at least we hopefully we got the kryptonite in terms of how to handle them when those games come up later in the year. But the Ravens are they're beasting right now, and certainly. They would be a threat to. I would have said they would have been a threat to Kansas City, but if you're gonna give Mahomes DeAndre, then all bets are off. So, but Coach, what do you think? Out of all those stories, anything you want to follow up on? If you want to take the story in another direction, you have those other options, or however you want to do it, and then we'll look to close out the show.
Hey, I'm gonna go this King Henry, man. King Henry. I'm a running back myself. Let me tell you something. As long as Baltimore keep on giving him the ball with his 873 yards to date, 7 games into the season, that's a winning philosophy.
You think he's going for 2K?
Listen, I don't think it's playing that way, but I think he's going to get it and exceed maybe 2,200 if he stays on this pace. Because we saw clearly in the first game that coaches get caught up in the Patrick Mahomes flare. They want to match his pass and all that. You can't do that. You have to run the ball. And Baltimore's figured that out. and they have a well-balanced attack. I think they're going to continue to get the defense is going to get a little. I think they need to bring in another defensive body because I think a few players got hurt. But it's just I love to see running backs run the ball the way Henry's running the ball. They giving it to him late in the game, and so even Barkley, like I said, he had a field day against his old team. I know they looking at him like, man,
173 yards.
He could have got more, but he declined to go back out on the field.
I'll say football. I'll say that November you would really see the football players and the good teams will separate themselves in November. The good teams, because you must be able to run that ball. And who wants to have a 265-pound freight train coming at them on a 42-degree night on some turf? You don't want to take on that hit. You get out the way. So
who probably can run faster than you if you.
Unfortunately, the fact that he plays for Baltimore, I mean, he's putting up similar to Adrian Peterson, he's putting up MVP type numbers. But guess what? So is Lamar. I mean, his passing numbers have been tremendous. So he's almost like an MVP candidate, and they're not going to give it to a running back. It's very rare when a running back's ever gotten it over.
Yeah, but Mr. Bennett, we always say the same thing about Lamar. I mean, he's a great regular season quarterback, but right, you got to grab.
But the MVP is a regular season award. You know that too.
Yeah,
so.
he can win. He can if he can win 3 more MVPs. But people now because his performance it drops in the postseason. So that's it's the same thing folks get about with Dak Prescott, except Dak don't carry an MVP with him. Yeah. But Lamar reaches the pinnacle in the regular season, and then he shrinks down to Dak status in the postseason.
Yeah.
So it's
we'll see again. We'll see this time. I mean, I don't think he certainly had this weapon. At running back up to this point,
they still was number 1 in rushing last year, but I think
they were. But he had a lot to do with it. But again, he's saving his body. He don't have to do out and make those runs like he used to as well. So very scary situation there. But I think as we come to the end of the show, I'll just give my final thought. The fight between Mike Tyson and Paul is set for November 15th. Do me a favor. Don't watch it. I'm not watching that fight. So, first of all, I don't know what's going to come off. Tyson may pull a muscle or hammy or something like that, and it might not happen anyway. I think the money's on the fight not happening due to injury versus if it does, but I have no intention of watching. So that's all I got. So what do you got, Shawnee?
And about that Tyson, whatever the old dude name is, I forgot.
Paul.
Paul fight. I was at the Texas State Fair this past Sunday, and they had these huge inflatable, one of Paul, one of Tyson, pretty much at the entrance promoting the fight. Is that going to be in Dallas? I forgot.
I thought it was supposed to be. Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be at that stadium.
That's probably why.
You going?
Oh no! I ain't going. I ain't going there. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of people over there. It's going to get real packed. I ain't got no time for that. Did you get them?
Question. Hang on. What bowl is typically down there?
What bowl?
You guys host? Yeah. The rice or the
Cotton Bowl used to be at the State Fair, but they have since moved that into when the Cotton Bowl became part of the whole BCS title rotation.
Yeah.
They moved that into Cowboy Stadium.
Okay.
They have some TCU host a bowl, the Armed Forces Bowl. It's some I think those.
But they've never hosted like a national championship game, or they're not in the mix to host one of those big major.
Yeah. When the Cotton Bowl moved to the Cowboy Stadium, they hosted a national championship. They hosted a college playoff because it used to be they wasn't going to do that where it was. And it's too small. It's old school. The original Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
The actual Cotton Bowl in the State Fair. But they don't even call it Cotton. Well, I think they still do. But when they moved to the AT&T Stadium, now they host the bigger games, and they are part of that whole. It's Cotton Bowl, Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl,
right?
Fiesta Bowl. That whole
Fiesta
rotation.
Bowl and Sugar Bowl. I thought.
Yeah.
Was in there.
So they ultimately will host a playoff game or host a title game.
Gotcha. Trey Ferg, it's on you. You can close us out, sir.
I mean, again, man, this is October, man. Health Month, man. Everybody get your checkups. Make sure you preparing yourself for the winter. Dig out all your old coats and clean them off, wash them, get ready for the weather change because it's coming. And for the real football players, now it's time to play football. You fans, I'll just sit at home and complain about your team. But other than that, man, listen, man, salute to y'all, man. Brother Lawson, Tracy, man, we praying. Amen. We here for you, man. We here for y'all, man. Dante, man, hope you come back next week, man. Get ready, man. I'm telling you, man, football season is now in full swing. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
Good luck because he's currently studying for this huge license exam, so that's why he couldn't make it.
Amen. There you go. Praying for our brothers, yeah, definitely for Lost and Dante and just all the men out there. Again, if you're 50 plus or reaching out over 40, do what you need to do. Right, take that digital exam. All right, no Diddy. Just take the exam. Get the colonoscopies, get everything that you need, because, again, we need you guys around. Your kids and your family need you as well. So do what you need to do to stay healthy and just to be around, God willing. This Sunday, I'll turn 55. And so I'm definitely looking forward to, another year, again, if the Lord wills it. So trying to be as healthy as I can, as strong as I can in this time. But thank you all for joining us once again on the One-on-One Sports Show. It's been a pleasure, as always, being with you guys. Until next week, we'll see you then. Take care, and God bless.
Peace.
Going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. I hope you're all here for the ride. Come inside, cause it's going down tonight. Only here for one night, no lies. Come and saddle up a ride. Need a yeehaw, you know how here for one night and we just wanna party. In a fast car, a Ferrari. It's a push start, I don't need a car key. Start on Broadway, and it's gnarly. On a late night, but I'm not tardy. Right on time for the parties and Barbies. Strolling with a chunk of green like a golf swing. Hey, 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 hey. Bottles on ice, mess around these skates. Hey, hey, hey. If I gotta say it twice, then I got nothing to say. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. It's going down like a rodeo. It's going down like I told you so. I hope you're all here for the ride. Come inside, cause it's going down tonight. Only here for one night, no lies. Come and saddle up a ride. Come and kiss me up, it's going down. Like a train with no brakes, I'm not slowing down. See it showing up, we're showing out. That I pack